Hello, good evening. I hope that we are live. It says that we are. Just checking to make sure. Just double checking. Russ, just checking. Can you see us live on your side? Excellent. Great. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Medicine for All Times. Thank you for joining us on this Sunday evening in Cape Town. It is a beautiful, beautiful, calm evening, which is lovely. And thank you to those of you that are going to be joining us live, as well as those of you that will be watching the replay. My name is Svenja, and my spirit name is Twirling Mystical Dreamer. And these conversations that we've been having on a bi-weekly basis were started and were formulated during the global pandemic that we found ourselves in. And the intention is to create awareness and to share beautiful stories and passions and creativity and wisdom from so many people, both locally and internationally, and to hopefully spread this sense of empowerment that we all need at this time. So tonight's topic is the inner child, which is a really, really beautiful conversation to be having and to be sharing. But before we delve into that, I want us all just to take a moment to connect to the space and to connect to ourselves and just land in the space. I'm sure that we are all feeling ourselves quite wrapped up in the momentum that tends to happen at this time of the year. And it is a good reminder for us just to slow down and to bring ourselves back to the present as often as we can, so that we don't get wrapped up and caught up in the flurry of it all. So let's just take a moment to uncross our legs and uncross our feet, to pack away our phones or put them on silent, and to take a moment to close our eyes and just to feel into the weight of our bones, to connect to the sensation of our breath traveling in through our nostrils and filling our lung space and filling our bellies and traveling out through our mouths, creating this beautiful natural detoxification system. And sensing into the weight of our sits bones on our chairs or the place where we are seated. And allowing our shoulders to relax and to fall away from our ears, and for our jaw to soften, loosening our tongue away from the roof of our mouths. And just allow every breath that becomes deeper to just bring us more into an awareness of the here now moment. And with us being more present and being more centered in this moment, let us call in our energy allies to be with us in the space this evening, giving such deep gratitude for the elements that are around us and that carry us through every moment of every day. And it's really such a beautiful acknowledgement to them and of them when we just take a moment to pause and give them thanks. So connecting to the element of air, this incredible process that we do automatically, that is the first thing we do when we are born, and it's the last thing we do when we leave this earthly plane. It is also the beautiful four winds that carry our messages and that carry our prayers around the globe. And it is the carrier of our voices, of our words, the words that weave magic. We thank you for all of your beautiful essence that you bring into the space every moment of every day. We thank you for being here with us right now. and connecting to the element of fire, that incredible element that can burn into our creativity and our passion, igniting everything that we are wanting to desire and we are wanting to plant in this world. And it also allows us this incredible ability to burn away that which no longer serves us. The element that was the first technology on earth that we use to warm ourselves, to heat our food, that nourishes and feeds our cells, and that allows us a space to watch where flames dance and mesmerize us. We thank you for all of your beautiful essence that you bring into the space and for being with us in this here now moment this evening. And the element of water, the rivers, the lakes, the oceans, this incredible reminder to find our way and flow our way around obstacles that may be in our way, and that after every wave there is always calm. The beautiful waters that we have flowing within our own bodies and that we use as tears to wash our souls. Thank you for your beautiful essence. Thank you for the constant flowing and the nourishment to our bodies that you bring, and the washing and the cleansing. And we thank you for being with us in this space tonight. And to the element of earth, the stone people, the wisdom, the ancient beings, and the reminders that we can stand tall, we can hold our ground, we can grow those roots deep down into the earth, and that we can stand steady against all the winds that may try and move us. We are so grateful for the ability to tap into that wisdom and the guidance and the strength when we need to, and to just take that moment to pause and to connect to Pachamama, to remind ourselves that we are so interconnected with everything that is within and around us. We thank you for being with us in the space every moment of every day and tonight. Aho Matakuyasan. And take another deep breath, and maybe we can yawn into our bodies and find ourselves ready for this beautiful evening of sharing. So technology has played its role and its part this evening, and unfortunately our first speaker is not able to be with us live, but she has graciously done a beautiful recording for us, which I'm really, really looking forward to watching. So I just want to introduce Lyn De La Motte and her topic of soul retrieval, reclaiming your inner child. Lyn Spirit Eagle lives on Hogsback Mountain with her partner Julian and 2 wolves. Her initiation into the walking of 2 worlds came via the hallucinogenic toxic bite from a black widow spider about 25 years ago. As the universe would have it unfolded into meeting and subsequently being apprenticed, and Lyn would like to share her understanding of soul retrieval, extractions, and dimensional qualities of our inner visual imagery with you. She is also an artist and has gathered hundreds of visual journeys, her own and others, tracing the phosphenes and fractalian shapes of our human narrative of recursive energies and quantum theories. Thank you, Lyn, for your beautiful recording. Please give me a moment while I do a share screen and sit back and enjoy.
Hello everyone. Thank you for giving me the space to talk about soul retrieval, extractions, and reclaiming your inner child. So I want to tell you a little bit about me first. I live in Hogsback on a mountain in the forest. It's a rainy day and very beautiful outside there. And I'm an artist. Most of my life has been about the visual. And so The pieces I bring back in the soul retrieval process are visual. I don't know what the visuals mean to you when I bring them back, but we find out. So a little bit about soul retrieval. It's an ancient practice, and basically I'm doing the work for you. You just be there, and you can be there in far away, so long as you're not watching TV and playing on your phone and doing a whole lot of things like that. I can connect energetically. I love it when people are here with me, come here and we do the process, just because I really like people and it's warm. So you just be there. We do ceremony first, where we ask our guides and our protectors to be there with us, Great Spirit, and sage and drum, and then I go on the journey to collect the pieces. Now, in this practice, there are many places I may be taken to bring your pieces back. But we're going to talk mainly about the actual process of the inner child. It's raining so hard. I hope you can hear me. So I'll just make my voice a bit more. The pieces themselves, for the children of your inner child, happen when you are a child. Now, they can also happen to your ancestors' DNA. They've gone through many, many traumatic things too, and they come through in our DNA, these patterns of famine or wars or hurt or pain, and our pieces get left there, or their pieces get left there, but the memory goes on with you. And so, while you're being there, lying there, I go from the journey to the places that I collect them. There are two places mainly that pertain to inner children. One being the lake, and the pieces that get lost there are from when you're born. It's quite a thing coming into this 3D world as a spirit, and the pieces I find there often have to do with our psychology or our gifts or our characteristics in this life that might be needed. Maybe you want to be a speaker to a big lot of people, but you actually are terrified. I mean, mostly it's terrifying anyway, but you can't do it because you're too terrified. And it's because maybe something happened at school and everybody laughed, and so it became too traumatic for you to speak or to do something publicly. So there can be pieces like that from there. Other place, one of the main places, is called the Cave of Lost Children, and bearing in mind that this is an ancient practice and was done in another language, so it's a translation. It becomes a Cave of Lost Children. But there are not always children there. There are the pieces that the child lost there sometimes. Pieces like I brought back alcohol for someone because of the pieces that they lost because of a parent's alcohol habit. I've brought back walls. For instance, a child had made walls around them, so they were unable to really connect with people later on in life. So we'd have to do the work of breaking down the wall later in the integration process. I brought back lobster for an old Jewish woman. And I was a bit concerned about that because Jewish people don't eat lobsters because they're considered bottom feeders. And so I was a bit concerned about that. But when I brought it back, she was delighted because she said, no, I don't have to be a bottom feeder anymore. It relieved her from that. And so I'll blow them into your chakras. And when I finish the journey, because they're normally about 4 to 6 pieces that I'll bring back at a time. We don't do this very often, the actual process, because it takes a while for the pieces to be integrated back into you. And I'll speak about that in a moment. Yeah, it takes a while. And I will, after the actual process that I've done in bringing back the pieces, the journey with my guide, and I will tell you about them, and then I will also do a cleanup inside and outside your auric fields and your inner bodies, because we keep things in there unbeknown to us. Sometimes I'll give you an example here. A young man had a big steak, not a meat steak, a wooden steak, in his whole torso. His whole life was around this wooden steak. And started to take it out, gung ho, and my guide said, no, don't do that. Why? Oh, because this young man had built his whole life around this, and if I just yanked the whole thing out, he was going to collapse. So my guide said to take a little bit. So it was a long time process before this was clear, because each time I took a piece of the steak out, we had to allow integrate, the whole, because, nature abhors a vacuum and is going to fill it with anything if we do not do it ourselves to fill it with what we need. It took some time to go through that whole process until he could stand on his own without feeling the steak, without feeling that he needed the steak, because that's what his prop was in the end. And we go through these recursions in our lives. You can imagine it as a spiral. And along these recursions, we have what they call entanglements. And so it's those entanglements that we will go to and help to unwind and release the energies trapped there. So after the ceremony, and I've told you everything that I can. Mostly I may have some messages, may have some added pieces to talk about, and but I'm sometimes been told not to talk about certain spaces, but very, very seldom. So I can tell you whatever it is that I find there, and then I do the outside work, the things that may be stuck in your auric fields or inside. Those things tend to be, they may be little entity type things, they may be bigger things, they could be pieces of car, if you're in a car crash, there may be pieces of barbed wire, they can be spears, they can even be pieces of tricycle, if it's for your inner child process, all kinds of things, and I take them out if necessary. I only do what my guide has told me to do, because I don't know, this is about you and not about me, and I may have inklings, but I don't know, and I cannot get myself mixed in with this. I can only be hollow bone. I can only be a container for the information to come in, and I bring it back to you. I can only do that. I can help protect you in your spaces. I can help you to integrate these pieces. Now, the integration process is quite interesting because it's many layered. And for example, I brought back a piece of lace for someone, lady, and she said that it reminded her, she immediately felt that this was like the piece of lace that she was looking through when her father left, when her parents divorced. She was totally distraught about this. It hung her up for her whole life. She probably may have got divorced in her life if it hadn't been for this piece and her terror of this. And luckily, she and her husband today are fine, and they never needed to actually get divorced. But this piece and time and the layers, she felt that she had integrated it. It takes about 7 days of the work that I'll explain now to integrate the piece, and 28 days cycle for it to be much more comfortable. But she came to me about a year later and she said, you know that piece that I thought I'd integrated? Well, I realize now that it is mainly about the fact that I would not have been able to integrate the piece for my son, because her son was going to go through a divorce, and she said she would have caused total ruptions about it. She would have caused more harm than good. She would have hated the woman. She would not have let her son go through the divorce because of the children. But she could actually be supportive because she was whole in that spot. Now, she was not being triggered from it. So many, many layered. Now, the integration process, once I brought these pieces back, as I said, are really interesting because of the creative way that can be done to address the pieces. We may have our left brains, our rational brains say, oh, this is ridiculous. What are you doing? It's just nothing. We don't need it. But once we speak to our left brains and explain that it's not that they don't have anything to do now, they've got to recall everything, they've got to document it, but they mustn't interfere with the process. They don't need to. It's not their job. You're doing it, and you're not your brain. Your body would also have something to say, may have something to say about it. Like, oh, that piece hurt when it left. Why do you want it back? We're doing fine. It's okay about the hole in your auric field. We're getting by. I don't want to have this piece back because it's going to be painful. And so I'm just going to be angry, have anger, or I'm going to be sick. So we speak to our bodies to reassure that once we have these pieces back, we will feel a lot stronger and energetically more able, and it may help our autoimmune disease or our depression, all of these things that ail us. And yeah, so there are many different ways of integrating it. We can write it on, write the piece down on a piece of paper, just the word, or we can draw a picture for those of us who feel like doing it like that. We can, like the lady with the lace, she went and bought a piece of lace to do her work. Or we can cut out a piece from a magazine that reminds us of what I brought back, and lay them out, and every day for 7 odd days you address them and you ask them to come back. The piece Ask them to settle. Tell them you love it. You love the peace. You've been very sad without it. You need it to be there so that you can be whole, so you can be more able and strong in this life, more balanced, and have your frequencies working well and higher and clearer. And so you're going to appease your body a bit and remind it that it's going to be okay, and you're not going to, you don't want it to get sick. You want to be feeling whole, because you got to remember also that we're not our minds, we're not our brains, we're not our bodies. We are energetic beings, and we have spirit, soul residing in here and being part of everything. So as we do this work, we raise our frequencies, and we raise the frequencies of everything around us. We can be more observant and more aware and more part of what is around us. The lands, we can feel more for the trees, the flowers, and be more aware of these things in an energetic fashion. So it's really good stuff for us, and it's beautiful work, and as I say, poetic. And every time I've done this work, I feel so blessed. I feel excited. I have no idea, as I say, what I will be bringing back. I may not have any idea. I just am a messenger, and I just do what my guide shows me to do. This guide has been with me for many years now. As I say, I've done many of these journeys, hundreds of these journeys, and I have done hundreds of my own journeys because of the 5 to 7 odd years that it takes to train to do this work. So I'm not getting stuck with your stuff. So that's more or less about how it works. And if anyone has questions or wants to know more, I think there's probably an email of mine somewhere around that you can connect with. I think you could Google me. You might be able to find me on Sparza Space, lyn.sparzaspace.com, and find out more, because it's a big work. It's takes long, and it will take you about 30 days to feel more comfortable, more settled with what I've brought back. It brings back, obviously, pieces of your present day as well. Pieces when people take pieces off you, because that's another whole thing. Many times we take pieces from people without realizing it. Just small things like maybe they needed a compliment, or maybe they needed an award for something, but we'll hold that back. So they don't get that which is actually theirs, and gets stuck in us, and it holds us down, our frequencies down. So that's also about letting go of the pieces that are not meant for us. And yet we've been holding on to the energy for a long time. So this is energetic work, beautiful, exciting energy. Work, and we don't know about our energies enough. We're pretty much stuck in our bodies most of the time, along with some emotional coverings and what we think. And we think too much about the things that bother us, and the things that ail us, and the things that people we think do to us. And most of it is a lot of gunk and creates density around us. And we want to be lighter, more joyful, and more able to do the service work that we have to do here, whatever that may be. So I thank you again for the time, and if anybody wants to share more about this work, or ask more about this work, being that I love this work and it forms a lot of my artwork. She said, looking at the artwork over there. Yeah, I feel blessed to do it. And I'm grateful to all of you. Bless you all. And send you all lots of love. Aho. And mutakuya or yesen. For all our relations, we do this work. Thank you.
Thank you, Lyn, for that beautiful recording and for sharing your work with us around soul retrieval and around the importance of connecting to those lost parts of ourselves that are either from our early childhood years or, as Lyn spoke, even from generational memories that have come through. And yeah, we all, I believe, have an ability and a right to walk on this earth as whole human beings and as whole souls. And it's really vital for us to continue doing work to retrieve those parts so that we can heal as the whole. So thank you, Lyn, for that beautiful share. I am really looking forward to the music makers this evening. We have our own amazing in-house music maker, Russ. So Russ is also our back-end tech guy and one of the masterminds of this Medicine for All Times platform. And yeah, it's such an honor and such a blessing that he is going to be doing music for us this evening. And he is collaborating with Imtiyaaz, and the two of them are going to be creating beautiful sound. So thank you and welcome their beautiful musical medicine into the space.
we are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the elders, we are the children. We carry with us all that has ever been. With a vision, circling once again. And it's timeless, yet it's happening. In the light we live, in the songs we sing, we are reconnected to the spirit of the earth. We are reconnected to the spirit of the earth. Is growing, the winds of change are blowing. Every moment is a miracle of love. The ancient wisdom has returned. We're walking on this land we've learned that we are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the elders, we are the children. We carry with us all that has ever been. With a vision, circling once again. And it's timeless, it is blossoming. In the light we live, in the songs we sing, we are reconnected to the spirit of the earth. We are reconnected to the spirit of the earth. you.
Oh, Matakwiyasin. Thank you, Russ and Imtiyaaz. Let me, oops. Technology. There we go. Yay. Oh, awesome, guys. That was so beautiful. Thank you for sharing your voices and your guitar and your flute. Just really incredible and such a beautiful interlude as we find ourselves transitioning through to the next and our last speaker for this evening. It is with great pleasure that I would like to introduce Janine Hayward. She has been on our show a number of times, and I just feel so honored that she keeps wanting to come back. It's so cool. And Janine has shared her beautiful musical magic with us before as well. And this evening, she's going to be taking us on a different journey, which I'm really, really looking forward to. So Janine is going to be speaking to us about resourcing our inner child through visualization and imagination. She offers matrix meditations with sacred sounds to cleanse outdated ancestral patterns and reconnecting to the inner child that keeps us from natural self-expression. Her songs are written from the heart, expressing her healing journey and inner world. Janine, thank you so very much for being with us again tonight. I am so looking forward to this evening. And so you can maybe guide us through what we can expect and make sure that we're all comfy to absorb all your beautiful sharings this evening. Thank you, Janine.
Unmute. Thank you so much. Really, really beautiful offerings that have come before. Really appreciating the space that's been opened and appreciating everybody who's here to listen and be in the space with us this evening. So it's a bit one of those things when people ask me what I do, I don't really know how to answer because it's more like what I be. I'm a poet and an artist and a musician, and I help people heal. And so at any given day, at any given time, I could look like a completely different person, depending what I'm getting up to. So today we're going to be talking a little bit on how to resource our inner children. Because, with times being the way they are, stress levels can rise quite intensely. And sometimes our inner children come out to play, and sometimes they have tantrums, right? I don't know if anyone else has been like that lately, but I find for myself that the more stressed I am, the more shorter my fuse is. And so when clients come to me, they're often coming because their fuse is really short, and they're wishing to be a little bit less reactive in the world. And also, often people come to me when they're in the space of, they don't want to kill themselves necessarily, but it's like, I don't want to live and I don't want to die. There's this fear of death, there's this fear of life, there's this fear of not living, and there's this desire to not live, and it's all mixed up. And so going from that really anguished place where the inner child is literally screaming, like you've seen babies with colic, it's like helping babies and people with inner babies like that back to a calm and happy place so that they can be resourced enough to actually get back to their life purpose and the things that bring them joy. And sometimes it's a process. Sometimes, for me, healing can be like a thunderbolt and it happens instantly. People can heal themselves in a moment. And other times it's more like a sunrise, like the process unpacks over time. So personally, I never have an expectation of what's going to happen. I just bring in the moment whatever is necessary. So my favorite modalities are access bars, which we can talk about at another time, and matrix reimprinting. Now, matrix reimprinting sounds like, take the red pill, take the blue pill, and people are often like, what the hell do you do exactly? And then it becomes complicated because how do I describe that we're going to time travel? Yeah, we're going to go visit your inner child We're going to go sort their stuff out and beam back to the past and the future, maybe go visit a dead granny. And most people, if I had to explain it that way, would be like, right, okay. So essentially, that's what I do, just to put it on the table there. We incorporate very many different ways of working in Matrix through imprinting. And I suppose the main one is we use emotional freedom technique. It involves tapping on various points in the body, which clear the meridians of stress. So you'll notice some people are quite poker-faced and chill. They can deal with, they're in a board meeting, they've got their tie, they don't break into a sweat, they're quite fine. I deal with the other kind of people, yeah? I deal with the people like me who are a bit more, and can let it go, right? Not all of us have that capacity to let it go. I find a lot of Scorpios are like that. In the beginning, we just don't know how to let things go. Later on, we become masters at it. But there are, this kind of things that happen to people sometimes. So with the EFT tapping, it's really to get that disturbance away so that you can have the thought and the emotion without it affecting you. You can still feel the emotion. Its intensity is reduced very rapidly, but you can think clearly at the same time. So you can think of a traumatic event and it's like, oh yeah, that happened, but it doesn't like re-trigger you and put you into a panic again. So yeah, that's another thing I help with is panic attacks. Love doing that sort of stuff and phobias because, sometimes these things, it happened at some little point in the past where something got triggered and that like croches into the future. There's this lovely quote by Gandhi, and I'm going to read it in case I get it incorrect. But it's this thing of your beliefs become your thoughts, and your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your values, and then your values become your destiny. And so for me, I've been working with trying to sort out PTSD in myself for very, very many years. And I've tried lots of different things. And what I realized is sometimes I'm trying to focus on the body, sometimes I'm trying to focus on the emotions, sometimes I'm trying to deal with the thoughts, but actually at the core of it is always this belief. If I have the belief that the world is not a safe place, it's like putting on sunglasses that can only see the world that way, no matter what's going on the outside. So my internal response will always be, the world's not safe, I have to protect myself, I've got to defend myself, people are not safe, etc., etc., and it gets worse and worse the more one confirms that limiting belief. So essentially what we're doing in Matrix reimprinting is to get back to the source of where that belief started. So it's quite a thing where people will come and maybe they don't even know why they're there on the day. And we'll start tapping with the EFT on that. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here. EFT tapping seems like a load of nonsense. And we start with the elephant in the room, because it does seem like, how's tapping going to help me calm down? But if you can imagine, you've got your meridians in your body, so your urinary bladder goes down your back, and then you've got meridians at the ends of your fingertips. You've got meridians on all these pressure points, which all go into the organs of the body. And if you imagine down either side of your spine, that energy system is flowing into the body, but also the nerves are flowing into the organs. So, for example, if you're feeling depressed or like really sad, you might find people slouch quite a lot, yeah? And then their lungs are not breathing, so then they can't get the air in and out, and it creates more of a depression because if you can't be open and breathe and connect with the joy of life because everything's all contracted, then that lung meridian is going to suffer. Or, for example, if you get angry a lot, if you've had too much spicy food and too many things happen that just made you irate, your liver starts getting affected. And anger is either like that explosive kind of comes out anger, or it's like, hell, I can't do that, so I'm going to suppress it. And then it becomes depression, more kind of yin, sticky, icky kind of anger. And depression, then sometimes one needs deep rest rather than, other things which don't always necessarily work. So yeah, I'm getting a bit off topic here, but the anger and the very intense emotions always come from somewhere. So there's this lovely saying, if it's hysterical, it's historical. So if something happens, like someone gives you a scared look and you furiously mad about that scared look, it's because somewhere in the past, somebody had that same look in their eye and it triggered you at a time when you were feeling maybe unresourced, maybe feeling hopeless or helpless or unable to change the situation. And so it's not just you as the adult that's reacting. It might be, you know, your 2-year-old that maybe mom looked at you with like this look in her eye or whatever it was. And children are incredibly psychic. Like children up until the age of 7, we don't have filters. We take in everything and we have no judgment on it. We go, okay, this is not right. This is not happening. And all of the thought forms of the people that are around us tend to start imprinting into our minds. So, you know, people neglect us, we start to feel worthless, and we start to make beliefs about all sorts of things that happen, which may or may not be true. You know, it may just be that, you know, our parents were really tired and couldn't do the best for us that day. But we make up a thing of like, oh, no one loves me. And that belief gets hooked in there. And the problem is that belief, if we don't undo it, and it's very similar to the soul retrieval. I think the one difference is when I'm working with a client is they will be doing their own work. So we start with the EFT tapping. Oh, this is where we got to. We start with the EFT tapping, right? And they're feeling their emotion. Maybe it's anger, maybe it's whatever. We feel it in the body. You go, okay, what color or shape or, you know, symbol is it? And then we speak to a younger version of self. Now, this is the fun part, because the younger versions of self know what is going on. They are connected to the field. Our normal, rational adult minds don't have access to the unconscious stuff that we are thinking and believing. Like we might be like, I'm a positive person, I'm radiant and joyful. But if you add on to the end of that, I'm radiant and joyful, but I look like a piece of, you know, nonsense in the morning or whatever. If you add on a but or a yes or an if, then you'll notice your head starts talking and tells you all the underlying things in that little positive affirmation that are actually getting imprinted when you're trying to be, you know, peppy. So they don't always work until you clear up those tail enders, they call them. So anyway, so we trace back that feeling. We go to a younger self and we ask them, okay, self with anger. Maybe it was a really spiky triangle. You know? So it's trace you to an even younger version of self. And we go and freeze everything there so that nothing, even if it was the most traumatic situation, everyone's frozen. If the younger version, like the baby or the whatever age we get to, is ready in dire straits, we get them out of there straight away. And we get them to a place of calm. We do the EFT tapping, which takes just a few minutes. So, and this is what I love about it, is many therapies, you're supposed to go and be in the trauma and relive the trauma and face the things and, you know, put on your big girl panties. And I mean, who wants to sit in all of that and feel the feelings? Sorry, I don't, you know, I don't want to feel them 100 times. So we go there, we face them, we clear them up, we sort them out, and then we resource that younger self with whatever it is they need. Not what we think they need. We don't go, oh, here's a blankie, or here's a, you know, a YouTube CD, or whatever we think they want or need. We go, sweetie, what would you like? What would you need in this moment in order to feel okay? And within the imagination, that younger version of self will be, well, actually, I want whatever it is, a rainbow. I want my unicorn back. I want a magic wand that I can change all of this. I want that person to listen to me. Whatever it is, within that imaginal realm, you know, maybe they want to punch someone. And we actually, I know it sounds but sometimes they see it and they're like, oh, I didn't like the way that felt. And then they change the picture and do it in a different way until they resourced enough that they can actually go through the event with you by their sides with whatever resources. So they might want an angel, they might want, you know, Superman there with them. Whatever they need, we give them what they need. And the moment your inner child gets what they need, it's like, that anger, that rage, that frustration disappears. And then that higher vibration, we try and get the picture 10 out of 10, awesome. so that you can stream back into the past and into the future and let the universe know, this is my new vibration. This is what I'm now choosing my life to be. And when you ask that younger self, then what is their new belief? It's usually completely opposite to what they were originally believing. So it might have started with the world's not safe. And after you've done a little process, it's like, no, I'm fulfilled, I'm capable, I'm joyful, I'm strong. And when you're coming into the world with that energy, the world's going to meet you in a completely different way, because those old glasses are gone and you're putting on glasses that are directly related to what your needs were at the time. And it's the most, for me, it's been, I've been practicing now for about, I don't know if it's 4 or 5 years, but it's really something that's been saving my life. I do regular swaps with friends of mine, and they'll do one for me, and they do them for me, and I'll be seeing clients and doing for clients, and we're now working on Zoom, which is, thank goodness for Zoom or WhatsApp, whatever works. But just to see the difference in myself, and the amazing thing, like sometimes, you go into this matrix realm, and the one time there were all my ancestors standing there, and they all had they'd taken this wood out of their bodies, these hearts that they were offering to the fire to burn and transform, and we did this whole cleansing process with all the elements and all that. Beautiful, they were all happy. The next day I went to go and do a sound journey at a yoga studio, and on the altar were these exact wooden hearts. They just lined up on the altar, and I was like, what are the chances? And for me, this capacity to manifest, it comes from the inside like that. The moment I change my vibration around those cords into the fire, saying the things you never got to